Hello, today is 11/10 of 25 and I am here with a video of what I eat in a day on my keto journey. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I changed my diet to a high protein, moderate fat, low carb diet in April of 2024. It is currently quarter till 3 and I am getting ready to have my first real meal of the day. I did have coffee this morning, but I didn't have any protein powder in it like I normally do. I just had coffee. I had to go out and run some errands. I've been drinking my chai coffee here in my camper, which is just fine. But I wanted to have something from like my favorite kind of chain coffee place, which is Scooters. And so while I was out, I stopped there and just got one of their a medium latte with whole milk. So I didn't actually have any food, but I did like it broke my fast. So then I went to the gym and I don't know how long. I think I was there for about 4 hours. I wasn't working out the whole time. I did take a shower there just because it's easier than taking a shower in my camper. But I did a full body workout, strength training, and then I was on the treadmill and the stair stepper. I don't even know how long. It was just like until I got tired. I was having so much fun listening to Christmas music and doing my puzzle book. So I just like did it for a long time. Now I am back at the camper and, like I said, ready for my first meal. So I have an egg scramble here. This has baby bella mushrooms and green onion, and then it's mostly egg whites. So I have 3 egg whites from the other day when I made pudding, and I needed just the yolks. And then there's half of a yolk in there because I don't remember what I made, but I needed half of an egg yolk, so I put the other half in here. And then I did add a little more egg white from like my egg white carton. So I'm going to have that, and I'm going to have a cottage cheese bowl. So this is a half cup of good culture cottage cheese, 4%, with some blackberries on top, and a Body Armor Flash IV to make sure I'm getting my electrolytes. It is just about 5 o'clock. One of the things that I want to do on this trip that I'm on is just do some experimenting in the kitchen. So today I'm going to experiment with like baking in my air fryer. I have made some cookies in my air fryer and they turned out okay. Although I use like a different protein powder, so I'm not exactly sure how the air fryer kind of affected it. So I'm going to make a recipe that I have made before in my oven at home. I'm going to bake a pumpkin spice cake. So I'm using these little silicone molds to make cupcakes out of them. I have greased them. I've cut the recipe in half, so I think I'm going to make about 4 cupcakes, and I'm just excited to see how it works out in the oven or in my air fryer. In my bowl, I have my dry ingredients. So I have 2 tablespoons of almond flour, a quarter cup of granulated sweetener. I use a monk fruit allulose blend, uh, 2 tablespoons of oat fiber, a teaspoon of psyllium husk, a teaspoon of baking powder, a quarter teaspoon of salt, an eighth of a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. I have also added in a half teaspoon, that's what I've got here, of vanilla bean powder. So that's going to replace what would normally be my vanilla extract in my recipe. Now I am ready to add my wet ingredients, although I am just going to mix these together just to get them kind of started. And then I will add in my wet ingredients. So I need 31 grams of pumpkin puree. That was perfect. Great. Okay. And then I've got a tablespoon of, just going to get this out of the way, of melted butter. It's starting to get kind of solid on me because it's cold. The high today was 33, which was a lot warmer than yesterday. Yesterday's high, I think, was like 23. So I actually did go for a walk today, only one loop around the campground, but I at least did get to go for a walk and get outside. Besides, like, running my errands and stuff today. Okay, so then I need 1 large egg. And that did not even crack it. There we go. I need a tablespoon of almond milk and a teaspoon of maple extract. Okay, and then I'm just going to get this all mixed together, and I'll get it into my cupcake molds. I do need to preheat my air fryer. So I know that when you use your air fryer to bake, you're supposed to reduce the temperature. The temperature for the original cake was 350 degrees, so I'm going to try it at 300 degrees. And yeah, I've got some butter solids in here. It's chilly. I let it sit just a little too long after taking it out of the microwave. And I do have a heater in my RV, but I'm kind of really frugal. So I really just make it as warm as I need it to be to like still be like fairly comfortable for me. Like I'm wearing a couple of sweatshirts, and I'm wearing like shoes. There we go. I'm wearing shoes on my feet, like to help keep my toes warm. So like I have the temperature set in here at 57 degrees, and that's fine for me. But obviously, when cooking, it affects my butter. And I am actually not sure that I'm going to be able to get 4 cupcakes, but we'll see. My air fryer has preheated, so I'm going to get these in. And they're supposed to bake for, I think it's like 35 to 40 minutes, but I'm going to check it at like 20 because I know that they're also not supposed to bake as long in the air fryer. My muffins are out of the oven. They did get a little darker on top than like seems appetizing, but I don't know how much it'll affect the taste. They baked for about 15 minutes, I want to say, so not even quite the 20. I'm gonna give these a try. Yeah, it's baked perfectly. I don't really like it warm. Just I'm just not one that likes to have my things like this warm, but the flavor is really good and they're baked really, really nicely. So that's fantastic. I think for dinner, I am going to have some waffles and chicken. I finished the rest of the muffin that I had taken a bite of after it cooled for a bit, and it was really, really good with the additional browning on top. It was actually great. It's kind of like when I have like cinnamon rolls, I like them to be like on the darker side, like almost burnt. And that's kind of what it was. So it was really, really good. I'm excited for that. I have made my kitchen. I've made my kitchen. I have made my chicken. I used my air fryer. I've got some chicken breast here that I seasoned with salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. I'm just going to stick it in my microwave just to like keep it warm while I make my waffles. So, because my RV is a 30 amp RV, I can't like heat I can't use multiple things like that heat because they draw a lot of power and I just don't have the power for that. So that's why I have to like cook my chicken first in my air fryer and now I can use my waffle iron to heat up and make my waffles. I'm going to make them. I'm using a recipe I've used before, but I haven't used this protein powder in it. I'm going to use Keto Chow Core Chocolate. I'd show you the bag, but I don't have it. So Keto Chow is the brand. Core chocolate is the flavor, which is sweetened with stevia. So it is a protein powder that is made with beef protein rather than whey protein. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out for the waffles. In my bowl, I have 26 grams of the Keto Chow Core Chocolate protein powder, a quarter cup of Good Culture cottage cheese, and 1 egg. And actually, I am going to kind of mix these together first because I'm afraid that if I just stick my little blender in, it's just going to kind of like throw powder all over the place. But then I'll blend it to get it kind of smooth. When I make these at home, I think I'm able to kind of get my batter a little bit more blended, like more smooth, because I use my little like ninja blender thing. But I think this will still be okay. My waffles didn't really turn out. They kind of they just didn't really get cooked through. Um, they're still fairly wet. I'm gonna just try a little bit just to like check the flavor. The flavor's okay. They just like it's just this really thin. It didn't work out. It just didn't work out. Um, I'm not sure what else I'm gonna eat. I'm just gonna start with my chicken and go from there. My original plan for tonight was to have a cup of hot cocoa with some cookies. I just kind of because it's been cold, so cold, I just wanted to like snuggle in bed and watch some football and have hot cocoa and cookies. So that's what I'm going to have. And then I think I'll just be done. I'm not all that hungry. Nothing else sounded really good. So I'm just going to leave things the way that they are. So to make my hot cocoa, I used 1 cup of Fairlife whole milk and a serving of Robert Irvine's Crunch Chocolate Deluxe protein powder. And then I also added in my collagen peptides because I didn't add those into my coffee this morning. So I added in a serving of those. And then for my cookies, I have some Chalk Zero butter cookies. um, I really enjoy these, like, when I'm hungry for a cookie, those are kind of like the ones that I am hungry for, just these really simple butter cookies. I'd read you the nutritional information, but I don't have the original box with me. So, I'm gonna have 1 serving of those, which is 4, and I'm gonna snuggle in bed. So, let's take a look at how my day turned out. I ended up with about 1,200 calories today. My protein is 133, my net carbs are 35, and my fat is 47. So I'm in a caloric deficit of about 1,200 calories. But like I said, I'm really not all that hungry. And I think that's because I've been eating like at maintenance, maybe a little above, but I don't think so. I think I've been at about maintenance. The last couple of days, I've been in my hometown and I went out to lunch with a friend and with my sister. I still ate clean, like, we had pizza, but I just had the toppings, things like that. I just like, the calorie wise, I think I just ate a little more than I usually do, so I'm not really worried about this big of a deficit today. Maybe I'll see it tomorrow.